move forward, you would say, hey, nah, dude, this platform is purely for Teamster issues.
Yeah.
And yes,
Labor
it's probably going to
issues.
get political from time to time, but as long as it doesn't go too far, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Not, hey, and it's funny because when their friends and their supporters throw all this bullshit lie out and all these rumors, they post it. But as soon as one of our supporters or one of our members that has seen, hey, you guys are doing a good job, post on there like, no, that's not true. This is the way it is. Oh, that comment is deleted right away.
Yeah.
It's deleted. It's like, so, okay, so what, you're over here claiming, hey, we're non-biased. We just want everybody's voice to be heard, but you just want your side of the voice to be heard. Back to the union meeting, guys, that's the other thing that people don't understand is, what? Remember, guys, our meetings were at 7:30 on a Wednesday night.
Wild.
Yep.
For 7:30 on a Wednesday night. I used to attend them all the time, dude. I used to send texts out. I guarantee you, some of you guys got my text. Union meeting night, dude. This was before I took over the local. 7:30 at night. It was 20 to 30 to people at these meetings every month. And half of them were the staff that worked for the local. So you maybe had 15 to 20 tops members that showed up to get activated or to get, involved.
Motivated.
If I wanted everything to be kept quiet and I wanted to intimidate people, why didn't I just leave it Wednesday night at 7:30 knowing that nobody will ever show up, nobody will ever question me? Guess what? I knew I was stepping into the kitchen. I knew bullets were going to fly, but that was our members' opportunity. That was our members' right to come here. And you guys, I will say, and that's one of the things that, I'm proud of. Our membership is way more active than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So
100%.
This podcast may contain views and opinions which are those of the hosts and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any local agency, organization, union, employee, or company, including the podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Off the Clock Shop Talk. Obviously, we're in a little bit of a different location today, but came to bring you some, some myth busting.
Myth busting.
Mythbusters.
Mythbusters, yep.
Yeah, everyone's
Hey, easy. I won't get flagged for that.
I guess. I think we're showing our age though too. I don't think that show's around anymore.
That show hasn't been around, I think, for like 15 years.
Like TV?
Yeah, TV.
What?
Television?
Do they have an Instagram?
Was it on
page?
Netflix?
Yeah.
No, it was on regular USA.
It's like,
I think it was on USA.
you know, that reminds me. Have you ever seen Back to the Future 2? Like, and they go to play games at the arcade. He's like outlaw gun. Like, I was so good at this. He's like using his hands and using the gun at the arcade. And they're like, you have to use your hands? That's like a baby's toy.
I'm a crack shot at this.
You have to use your hands? That's like a baby's toy.
Yeah. It was the duck hunt, dude. Remember?
Yeah.
The duck hunt, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious. But welcome back, guys. Got back on here real quick. We wanted to go over some, like I said, myth busting. Some,
Myth busting.
we've talked about the local election, and it seems like there's a lot of misinformation going around. And I think that's with any campaign, any election, whether it be presidential election, whether it be, the Senate races, all that stuff. You're going to get a lot of dirty politics. It's something that we've prided ourselves on here is not really getting into, other than, let's say, addressing shit talkers and whatnot. And I think we're going to be doing some of that today. So welcome back, Eric Jimenez, Secretary Treasurer, Local 952.
Thanks for coming back.
Appreciate you
Thanks
guys
for
having
coming
me on.
back on. And, I think I've talked about it a little bit. I might be a little biased, obviously. I'm rolling with you. That is what it is. But at the end of the day, I don't think we've got into shit talking about other groups or other slates or anything. But we did want to kind of ask some questions and get into answering some of this misinformation that's out there. And I think as someone that's running, right? Because technically I'm not running. Obviously I support you, but I'm not running. As someone that is running, you kind of have a conundrum, whatever. You have an issue whether you address bullshit that's being talked or whether you just let it go. And, I think it takes tact. It's a fair word to say.
Yeah.
It takes tact, and you got to know, hey, I'm going to address some of the issues. Obviously, some of the wild ones, because there's some crazy ones out there that's just like, really, guys? I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't have STDs. You know? Like,
trust me, I only have one house. It's only 1,400 square feet, I promise.
I only have one car.
I don't have a mansion. Yes, you know what I mean?
There's stuff that gets said about all of us. I don't park in the red, just so you guys know.
Yeah, that was a good one. John Antolin's car
parked in the red?
And I don't have a child named Natalia.
Yes, and she doesn't play soccer or softball.
Yes, I'm sorry, guys.
That's a perfect example of just stuff being thrown out there just to try to rile up the crowd, throw fuel on the fire. I want to say that's John's car, and that's kind of the issue these days, guys. Unfortunately, with social media, I think social media can be used in a good way. But I mean, obviously, back in the days, you had to have some integrity. You had to be able to talk to a person face to face, especially in our positions. You know what I mean? Now it's turned to, I'm not going to go talk to you face to face. I'll just go to a meeting, and then when shit hits the fan, sneak out really quick, or maybe not even show up when I have people next door in a parking lot. And but I'll jump on Facebook and say, this is what happened in the meeting when you weren't there. But I mean, sometimes how do you debunk some of that stuff? You know what I mean? Social media has become a big tool to for good and for bad. You know what I mean? To spread the word. It's helped you guys out obviously quite a bit, trying to get the union movement growing out there. But and obviously with us, we got a communications guy now, where all the members like to see what we're doing.
Shout out to Bobby.
Yeah, shout out to Bobby. But again, you got another chunk of people that, and like you said, everything from the U.S. presidential race to local races to, hey, dude, girlfriend and boyfriend break up. Guess what? It's going on Facebook, and they're going to talk crap about each other, and they can say whatever they want.
You're running for dog catcher. You're probably going to catch some heat.
Yes.
That's just what it is.
Yes, it is. So
elections are elections, but we're glad you came on to kind of address some of the stuff. Some of the questions that we'll ask are questions that we've seen, online. Some of the stuff. I mean, obviously, we're not going to be able to get to all of it, and I don't feel like some of it even deserves the recognition of
or even the time. Yeah, the time. It doesn't even deserve the time,
man.
That's
just absolutely ridiculous.
Correct.
Some of the stuff, But first things first, I think one of the biggest things that people have talked about is the work trucks, right? Look, at the end of the day, I'm not going to answer for you, but I think it's absolutely ridiculous to say that I would have to use my own car. And I actually gave an example to somebody recently, and it's like, okay, well, let's say that you come into work to you get your UPS truck, and that's how you make your money. But they're like, well, we're not going to pay for your gas. You got to pay for your gas. It's like, if you're using it in the capacity of work, that's kind of not all that fair. Or they told you got to use your own truck and put all the miles on your vehicle, wear and tear and whatnot. So
right. I want you to deliver these 250 stops in your little Honda Civic. So,
Well, I mean, not only that, but I mean, think about it, guys. There is a company out there that does that. There is a company.
That does that.
You'll deliver our packages. You'll carry our name, but you have to buy your own truck. You have to do the maintenance in our maintenance yards at the price that we want you to pay for. And you see that company driving around Ryder rental trucks, budget rental trucks. Yeah. It's called FedEx. You know what FedEx, I mean? Yeah. Some of those people have to buy their own trucks. UPS is completely different. You walk in, you clock in, you don't use your own car. You use their car. They pay for the gas. They pay for the uniform. Yep. And if they do need you to use your car, we have language in our contract that states you get mileage. Yeah. You get paid for using your car. So
thanks to the Teamsters.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I'll hit on the trucks. You know what I mean? First and foremost, I think what I really want to say is, it's election time. It's political season here in Local 952, and unfortunately, some people it's everybody's right to run if they feel that things need to change. But some of the things that are being said out there is, I'm just running to keep them on their feet. I'm just running to see how many votes I can get. I don't think that's the right reasons to be running.
Yeah.
Especially when you've never shown up and said, hey, Eric, What are the issues? These are my issues. Can you help me out with them? These are the issues at my yard. Can you help me out with them? Majority of the other opponents that are running against us, they've never come to us. They've never said, hey, can you help us out? They're just running to run. But I mean, it is, I'll jump off that subject.
Some of them don't come to meetings.
Some of them don't come to meetings at all. And when they do come to meetings, their excuse is, well, we're bullied, or we're, we don't feel comfortable. Like, is that really your excuse? You want to be a union leader, but you're afraid to come to your own union hall? Well, you better damn well know that the Teamster meetings, you know what I mean, they can get riled up from time to time.
Yeah.
We're Teamsters. We have differences of opinions. Yeah. And at the end of the day, we try to, corral those opinions and do what's right. But, for somebody to say, I don't feel comfortable in my own union hall. Okay, well, what are you going to do when $1 million company, $1 billion company sits across the table from you, tells you to go fucking pound sand, and they're going to take everything away from your members?
Yeah.
What are you going to say? Oh, I don't feel comfortable in this room.
Yeah.
Like,
You're not being nice
you're
to
gonna
me.
have $100,000 lawyers sitting across the table from you using words to literally tear you apart.
Yeah.
And they're gonna try to use legal mumbo jumbo, and your thing is, well, I don't like hearing the F word, or I don't feel well, and I know we're getting off subject to the trucks, but I'll get back to that. But you got to think about that too. Is some people, again, back to social media, some people think these days that you can say whatever you want online and that you can make up stories. And I'm talking outrageous stories, dude. You know, that you can talk about families, you can talk about the health issues of people, you can talk about the looks, whether it be the style of their hair, how tall they are, how skinny they are. I'm allowed to say that. But when you are confronted by the very people that you may be spreading those rumors about or spreading those lies about, oh my God, they play the victim. Like,
oh, I'm being attacked,
dude. Why are you doing this to me? You know what I mean?
You're intimidating me.
Exactly. And I think that's a cop out. You know what I mean?
It's 100% a cop out.
Especially as a Teamster. You know what I mean? We're going to confront people. You know what I mean?
Especially as a man.
Yeah.
Let's just put the Teamster thing aside for a second. Especially as a man. And I got into it, and I know. Look, I took some heat. Some people said some things that they were upset that, I said that I would be willing to smack somebody. Look, at the end of the day, I'm a man. If you're going to talk and you're going to talk personal about me, you're not talking about my work ethic. You're not talking about the job I'm doing. You're talking about personal stuff, and you're getting into that realm. I just didn't grow up like that.
Yeah. And you're
really
right. And we have to hold ourselves to a higher level because we are, I am the secretary treasurer. I am a union figure, a union representative, a figure, a political figure, even as a business agent, even as a shop steward, you guys kind of step into that realm. But that doesn't give anybody the right to say, well, because you are blanketed by being a union representative, I can say whatever I want to you, right, wrong, or indifferent. Huge lies about you. Talk about your wife, your kids, your family. Talk about your friends. Talk about, like I said, whatever it may be to just demean you. And then when I come to you and I say, dude, what's your issue, man? Let's have a talk about it. Oh my God, how dare you talk to me? and it's like, you guys, a perfect example has been at our local union meetings. Several people have gotten up on our microphones and legitimately talked about their concerns.
Brought up an issue. And although, you're like, man, it is what it is. That's their right. And we've opened up the doors of local union for that here at this local union, And if it's a legitimate gripe, dude, I will get on it ASAP. I will talk to the business agent ASAP. I will have the business agent or the other leadership explain what's going on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hell, I had one of our own supporters of me that I've known for years come out and say, you know what, I support you guys, but I kind of feel like me and my yard are last right now. And I didn't beat him up on it. I walked up there and I said, brother, I'll look into this. Yeah. I will figure out what's going on and we will get something done about it. That's completely different. That's your right as a member to come and say, I have an issue. But when you want to come up and say, hey, Eric has a house in Switzerland. He's embezzling thousands of dollars. You better damn well know I'm going to call you out on it. No different than you hold me accountable. Yeah, I'm going to hold you accountable too
to the rumors and to the lies that you're spreading.
Yeah.
And if you want to claim that you're exempt from being called out, bull crap, dude. That's just not fair. And a lot of our guys are doing that right now.
Yeah, I believe that's primarily like the biggest issue with like social media and just the internet in general is that there are trolls, and they basically live for that, for riling people up and spreading rumors and telling lies, and then you get people like normal people that aren't really trolls, but they get comforted and blanketed by the internet and they can say what they want, and when they are confronted, they're just like, what the fuck? Why would you even say that to me? It's like, well, you started this, so
yeah.
It's
and I know there's a certain someone out there that has said, oh yeah, I pointed him out at a general membership meeting. I did, and I'll do it again, because at the end of the day, what he contributes to, at the end of the day, what he supports is people getting on Facebook and talking about people's deceased parents, talking about people's appearances, talking about, and if you were a true Teamster and you were a true man of trying to see the labor movement move forward, you would say, hey, nah, dude, this platform is purely for Teamster issues.
Yeah.
And yes, it's probably going to get political from time to time, but as long as it doesn't go too far, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Not, hey, and it's funny because when their friends and their supporters throw all this bullshit lie out and all these rumors, they post it. But as soon as one of our supporters or one of our members that has seen, hey, you guys are doing a good job, post on there like, no, that's not true, this is the way it is. Oh, that comment is deleted right away. Yeah. It's deleted. It's like, so, okay, so what, you're over here claiming, hey, we're non-biased, we just want everybody's voice to be heard, but you just want your side of the voice to be heard. Back to the union guys, that's the other thing that people don't understand is, what? Remember, guys, our meetings were at 7:30 on a Wednesday night.
Wild.
Yep. For 7:30 on a Wednesday night. I used to attend them all the time, dude. I used to send texts out. I guarantee you, some of you guys got my text. A union meeting night, dude. This was before I took over the local. 7:30 at night. It was 20 to 30 to people at these meetings every month. And half of them were the staff that worked for the local. So you maybe had 15 to 20 tops members that showed up to get activated or to get, involved.
Motivated. Yeah.
If I wanted everything to be kept quiet and I wanted to intimidate people, why didn't I just leave it Wednesday night at 7:30 knowing that nobody will ever show up, nobody will ever question me? Guess what? I knew I was stepping into the kitchen. I knew bullets were going to fly, but that was our members' opportunity. That was our members' right to come here. And you guys, I will say, and that's one of the things that, I'm proud of. Our membership is way more active than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I mean, and we'll get on that, but to the trucks, you know what I mean? Guess what? For as long as I can remember, the union has always provided either vehicles or an allowance to use your vehicle. And it's never going to change, guys. And I don't care what the other opponent's saying out there that, we're going to change that. No, you're not. You're not going to use your own personal car and not get an allowance for it, or you're not going to use a union-owned vehicle if allowed. You're not going to get away from that. So stop hitting on that, because say for some reason you win, which you're not, because we're going to work harder and smarter than you. But at the end of the day, you're going to come in here and you're going to use a union vehicle. And I'll give an example. Two of the people running, one from UPS and one from Albertsons, guess what? They had trucks when they worked for this local. And they used the union credit card to supply gas for themselves. Rightfully so. I'm not going to beat them up for it. But
they didn't complain and turn in the truck?
No. Then one went and bought himself over $100,000 Wagoneer. You know what I mean? And swooped it up and made it look really good. And that's his right. I'm not, but if you're going to hit that, well, Eric has a truck, John has a truck, Miguel has two cars. He has his 300 and his Z71. No, it's not. Get your facts straight. That Z71 belongs to another employee who gets an allowance to use that car. And guess what? I know it's probably not the right thing to do, but we all use these cars, and whether they're union cars or personal cars, to ice chest, picket signs,
transport
people. That's what they're there for. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
anybody that's saying, well, they have trucks and that's horrible. Well, is your candidate not going to pay a allowance for people to use their cars? They are, and it's the right thing to do. Are they going to say, take all union vehicles away? We're now going to get on electric bikes. No, you're not. We're all going to roll up on electric bikes. No, you're not. You're going to use union, whether it be a truck, whether it be a Cadillac, whether it be, an SUV, whatever it may be. I guarantee you guys, I could get rid of everything and buy a fleet of Priuses, and I'll still be knocked for having union cars.
Prius, huh?
Yep. Good mileage?
Oh, outstanding.
Did this come with a dental dam?
My Suburban shit one of these last night.
We've had our fun.
Well, but then you're going to have to buy a box truck, too, to carry all those signs and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it is what it is. The trucks are there. They've always been used. And I think, kind of like you guys said, is, at UPS, we don't allow the company to make you use your car. And if they do on a once in a great while
and it's
instance.
not to, let's say, deliver so much. You're talking about, like, hey, you got to go drive to another building.
Correct.
And go get one of their trucks.
Yes, exactly. But you still get paid mileage, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The first year we got in, me and John Green purchased our trucks. And I think in the 2.5 years I drove my truck, in 2.5 years I had over 60,000 miles on it. And hey, because, maybe if you don't visit yards or maybe if you don't go anywhere, but we do. We pride ourselves on visiting yards at this local. And for me to put $60,000 on my own personal truck, and then watch it go down the drain, which, that's my job. Is that fair? Would we allow an employee, an employer to do that to our members? And a lot of what's going on is the trucks, this stuff. They want all the things that they are afforded by their contract, fight for more wages, fight for better, pension, fight for work rules, including me using my car and getting paid mileage. But when it comes to you as a union representative, oh, no, you can't live like this. You have to live down here. And you're like, well, don't you want to practice what you preach? You know what I mean? The vehicles, like I said, people have been hitting on vehicles for years. They have vehicles. No local unions.
It's so weird to hate on that one thing.
Yeah. I just think it's funny because, again, are they going to stop it? No, they're not. I guarantee you he's going to have his Wagoneer and drive it and either get a per diem or get an allowance, or he's going to get a union-owned vehicle. He had a union-owned vehicle. Some of these other guys, they've had union-owned vehicles. And I don't knock on that because that has been something that's been going on with the Teamsters for years, for any labor union, you know what I mean? I know one of the things, kind of another example is, they go to these events, whether it be Palm Springs, Las Vegas, San Diego. We have to go to delegates events. Per the Constitution and per the bylaws of our local, our 7-man e-board is a delegate to the Teamsters union events. And I look at them, I say, so you're knocking us for that. So if you were to take over, you're telling me you're going to just say, nope, I'm not attending those events? And if you do, I promise you I'm going to make all my staff go sober. Like, no, people have a drink from time to time, you know what I mean? They go out to dinner. Again, how far are you going to lie to the membership to say, vote for me? Because everything you're saying, they shouldn't be doing that, you have to do it. Per the bylaws and per the Constitution. You guys have to do this stuff. So it's man, Or
they'll say screw it, because I've literally heard some of them, talk shit on Sean O'Brien, which is weird to me because I think, we don't just have to talk about negative stuff. I'd also like to talk about some good stuff, the relationship that you've created here with not only, our locals in the general area. We have a great relationship with them, 396, 542. We got good relationships all around, but you've created a relationship with Sean O'Brien. And I've said it when he had come here 3 or 4 times. I had never seen Hoffa in the 20 years that I was at UPS. That just didn't happen. And we've seen Sean in our local how many times? 6, 7, 8
More,
times?
more than I can count on my two hands, guaranteed.
Like,
I mean, he was just here 2 weeks ago, walking yards, shaking hands with our members, not as a general president, as a friend to them. Like, hey, how are you doing, man? I mean, he mentioned it at one of our general membership meetings. I know more people here at Local 952 by name than I do back at my own home local that I came from. That's how much I come here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's a good we have built a relationship with Sean, and I get it. You know, there's always as Teamsters, there's always going to be difference of opinions.
Yeah, there's politics there too.
It is. You know, there's always difference of opinion. There's always differences of how we're going to get to the goal that we're trying to get to. But you know, he's been a friend to Local 952. You know, I tip my hat off to the gentleman. You know what I mean? In his position, times, you know, in my position, he gets it times magnified times 1,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, and you know, you have to be able to turn your personal views off sometimes and say they're beating me up, they're, you know, talking about, you know, my family, they're making just lewd accusations about me, and you have to kind of take that and let it bounce off you, you know what I mean? And he's did a pretty good job at that, you know what I mean? He's did a pretty good job at throwing all the mumbo jumbo to the side and saying, I don't care, I'm just going to keep moving forward, I'm going to keep marching forward. But he has, I mean, dude, I mean, honestly, right now, we see our members getting $1,000 on strike pay.
Yeah.
How much has that helped our members out in terms of not only being able to pay your bills, protect your family, but really giving you the morale, the belief that I can fight this company. You know what I mean? And that's huge for, you know, that's huge.
It's a big deal.
You know, and I get it, you know, he's not, dude, you know, I told one of my drivers at UPS one time when he was like, he made a comment and I said, dude, I'm asking you to vote for me as your secretary treasurer, not as your Messiah. I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm not God, dude. I don't walk on water, and neither does Sean. We are normal human beings. I put my pants on by putting one foot in one pant leg and the other foot. We're the same as you. And, you know, some people, you know, tend to think sometimes that, oh, well, you know, he needs to be perfect. No, he doesn't. He's a human being. But the one thing I will say to a lot of people out there is just because your coach may call a play that you don't agree with doesn't mean you say, oh, dude, I want to jump to the other team now. You know, hey, I'm going to be a hopper and be like, oh, well, I mean, it'd be like my coach calling a running play in the Super Bowl that I didn't think was the best to get a touchdown. And, oh, I don't want to play for you ever again. I'm going to another team. Drop me. Dude, that's
It's like, I'm doing it right now, actually, at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm going to go switch my uniform. I mean, that's just the way it is. And I mean, he's you know, this late, as much as people don't want to admit it, our union is more visible and more vocal in terms of politics, in terms of being out there. People actually know who the Teamsters are now. Yeah. You know what I mean? And some people may
bring back the name.
He's just trying to get on TV. Well, guess what? He's getting the Teamsters on TV. Yeah. And that's what's most important, you know what I mean, is people understanding.
So they can hear our issues.
Exactly. And he has. And, you know, like I said, you know, for Sean and myself, along with a lot of the other local leaders here in Southern California, we've become a lot more powerful over the last 5 years because of a lot of us being able to work with each other and a lot of us being able to throw our differences aside. You know, Southern California is one of the most densely populated Teamster areas, and we could be a powerhouse if we wanted to. Sometimes we just need to throw our egos to the side and do what we need to do. You know what I mean? But,
yeah, for sure.
100%.
And I think that, I mean, just going back to like the good of what that relationship has built, you know, Sean aside, even, I mean, it really has been great for us here. Obviously, you know, yourself, you were appointed as a package representative. You have James, you know, Lopez, now a warehouse representative. And the doors that's opened for us to get things done within our own local. And I mean that to say, if you don't have, and not that you can't get things done, but if you don't have any access to the local or to the general president and to his influence and power, then it hinders what you can do at home.
Yeah.
You know, and in creating that relationship, you really open the door here for us to get things done faster, to get things done, you know, streamlined, I guess.
Yeah, and you're right. You know what I mean? And it's not pounding our chest. I mean, it's cold hard facts. people may want to say, oh, look, they're just pounding their chest, but I'm a package representative for the Western region. I fall under the direction of Mark Davidson, great guy, knows the contract. I sit side by side with Victor Mineros, a new Western Region Vice President. Congratulations to the guy.
Yeah.
Along with, huge shout out to him. But I've known Victor since we were young. I mean, me and him have known each other for 15, 20 years. We moved up the ranks with each other. And although the general president and the Western Region vice presidents and all of Sean's board is open to all locals, it helps out a little bit more when you have a direct contact and when you can say, hey, this is what's going on. You know what I mean? You know, we get to hear, as a package representative, I get to hear some of the first things that are going to be taking place in terms of what's going to happen with UPS and us. You know what I mean? You know, same thing with James Lopez. You know what I mean? He's a warehouse representative under Tom Erickson, another great leader. You know what I mean? He has backed us up here at Local 952. He backed us up at the CVS, negotiations. He just got off, was just on a Zoom with our Albertsons committee saying how much he supports us. And don't worry, I mean, Sean, two weeks ago, set up in front of all the Albertsons members, don't worry, you guys are going to get that $1,000 strike pay if you guys need to get there. You know what I mean? That's huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
it's a big deal.
It is. It's definitely a huge plus, being part of it. And that's where our members really need to, they need to really digest what they're hearing out there. They really need to take into consideration the things that are being told to them and what is really going to affect them and their family. That's great. You can promise soda in the water fountains. You can promise, ice cream every day. But at the end of the day, your promises need to be fulfilled. And that's
be realistic.
Realistic also. I can tell you everything you want to hear, but at the end of the day, you better make sure that when you mark, that ballot for whoever you're going to vote for, you better know that they're going to have the opportunity to be able to protect you and your family, that they're going to be able to negotiate a contract, that they're going to be able to continue to grow this local and move it progressively into the future like we have. Because, if you don't and you put your hands in the rough, I mean, you can go from here right back down to where we were 5 years ago. Look at guys, we were in a local where we had no recognition. The union was almost non-existent. Our membership was non-existent. Nobody, we were considered one of the weak links of Southern California. Yep. And from where we were at 5 years ago to where we're at now is a major jump.
It's night and day.
Really
you always try to stay away from all the negativity. And we'll get to some of that, but just, some of the good things, guys, that, myself, John Green, you guys got to remember, we were running based off of, we want things to be better for the members. Mm-hmm. We want things to change. And we made a lot of promises. We would move meetings to Saturdays. We did. That we would get the membership involved. We have. Our membership meetings have 150, at least every single time.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Definitely packed.
Our picnics went from 200 people to where we just had over 500 people. Our Christmas parties went from where we only had 200 people to now we have over 1,000 people. You know what I mean? Our rallies, everybody knows if you have a rally, a strike line, you're going to see somebody from 952 there, or multiple people with 950 wearing their jackets, or their hats, or their shirts. We've, and not just me and John, but as a membership, we've come together to build that. Contracts. Dude, there's no disputing this. There's no, and I don't see the other sides hitting this, and we'll get to that, but our contracts have literally went from here to here. Industries that used to see 25 cents a year in raises, 5 cents a year in pension, are now seeing over $2 in raises.
That's
great.
You
know what I mean? Over $1.50 into their pension. You know what I mean?
That's big.
We just got done with a dairy of ours. They were used to seeing 25 cents, 35 cent raises. We just got them $2.25 in the first year. I mean, they looked at it like, you're joking. There's no way you got $2.25. You've been working here for 30 years, and we've only gotten 25, 35 cents. And you guys, I mean, and it is. And just to talk about that, I know I'm going on and doing most of the talking, but just to kind of hone in on that, members really need to see, people, because they don't get everything they want, they're going to say, oh, this was a shitty contract. If you were here and you moved here, how's that a shitty contract? If you were making 35 cents a year in raises and now you went to 225, right? How is that a major jump? I get it. You wanted $3-4, but just because you didn't get that doesn't mean it
doesn't mean it's shitty.
It's a shitty contract. At the end of the day, it was a fair contract. Yeah. And guess what? We don't always get everything we want in a contract, but as long as we walk away with more than we had and no takeaways, dude, you moved forward, man. You moved forward. And some people are very reluctant to say, guess what, dude? Nice job, bro. You guys did. Your bargaining team, your stewards did it. They made our lives better. And next time we'll get the rest of what we want. Instead, they want to be like, oh, I know it's a good contract, but I'm not going to say it. Eric, you suck. John, you suck. Shop stewards, you suck. Dude. That's just not the way it is. So our members really need to digest, UPS. I get it. There's a lot of things that UPSers want, but never have we seen, $7.50 over the life of a contract. You know what I mean? Dude, huge, you know what I mean? And I get it, the air conditioning.
$275 the first year?
Yeah, and I get it, air conditionings, you know what I mean? But again, we are fighting with $1 billion company. We got that in the contract. It's running a little slow on our end, you know what I mean? Not because of the Teamsters, but if everything was perfect, why would we need a union? If I could walk up to UPS and say, hey, I know you're so great that you told me you were going to do this. On this day, you got it done. Why have a union? We know UPS, we know Albertsons, we know OCTA, we know Pepsi, Coca-Cola, GKN, we know the County of Orange. We know when we come to fight, they're going to tell us no, or they're going to tell us what we want to hear and then try to stab us in the back. Dude, that's normal, you know what I mean?
That's business.
But that is business, bro. You know business. What I mean? And yes, guess what? And I'm not going to stop doing it. We are going to get up, we're going to beat these companies up, man. Yeah. And, and from time to time, we're going to tell them to go fucking pound sand. And I will cuss because at the end, a lot of our members don't see what these companies are trying to do to our members. They don't see the amounts of money that these companies make, but then have enough guts to look at us as a union and say, we need them to pay for their health care. Or, hey, we need to cut their wages. Or we just made billions of dollars over the pandemic, but we only want to give them a 25-cent raise. Yeah. You don't understand how frustrating that is.
It's wild.
And when they attack our members and when they demean our members and when they treat our members like they're second-class citizens, you better damn well know I'm going to motherfuck you as much as I possibly can to the point of striking your ass. You know what I mean? So, and I'll keep going, man. The strike, we got one of our guys out there saying, this local can't afford another strike. They can't afford a strike. Their general fund is completely, horrible. Let's talk about financials, guys. First off, this local is financially sound. Our reports say it. We have millions of dollars in assets. It may not be in our general fund as hard dollars, but we have property that's worth millions of dollars. They want to say we're going to go bankrupt soon. Bunch of bullshit. Okay, before this local ever goes bankrupt, this local union would have to sell all the property it owns, use all the money in its bank accounts, sell the main property, and then say, I'm going bankrupt. It's never happened. This local union has never had to go across the street to our bank and say, can we take out a loan to pay our bills? Never has it been done. Under the old leadership, yes, it was. That was happening. It's never happened here. Our local is financially sound. But again, back to, we can't afford a strike. Well, first off, Mr. Smarty Pants, guess what?
The IBT.
The IBT pays for our strike benefits. Yes. Again, thank you, Sean O'Brien and General Secretary Treasurer Fred Zuckerman, who actually oversees the money. Guess what? They're the ones who pay out our strike benefit. And our strike fund that we pay per capita to is bigger than it's ever been. So much so that Sean and Fred can say, I'm not going to give you only $350. I'm going to give you $1,000. That's how sound we are in terms of money at the local level and at the IBT level. But he's saying, if we take money out of the general fund to pay strike benefits, we're going to go into bankruptcy. We don't pay the strike fund.
Yeah.
The IBT does.
Yeah.
The IBT does. So one, you're kind of wrong there. Let's hit on that even more. We've had 2 strikes in this local union. We shut down the buses for 4 full days, and then we shut down our access buses for 14, 15 days, and we were perfectly fine. Our members honored. We had 1 member cross a picket line at the time, and guess what? He was a temporary, but either way, I mean, that's here nor there. We have had our strikes, and this local has been perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But they want to throw out there, oh, if you go on strike, this local is going to go down the drain. Guess what? We threatened to strike CVS. If Albertsons gets to that point, we will. UPS, we threatened it. You know what I mean? So we do. All these things. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Our members really got to chew on what they're hearing, and they really got to fact check some of the stuff, because how do you go out there and say, oh, we're going to go bankrupt? This local doesn't even pay the strike fund. That's the IBT. Get your head on straight, but you want to go ahead and run this local union. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, it's.
It's just addressing a lot of the misinformation, because I mean, I don't know if you guys heard the saying, a lie goes around the world twice before the truth puts its pants on.
Yeah.
That's
a good one.
That's what they say. And I think it's true. There's so many lies and just misinformation out there. I'm glad we're finally getting on and kind of addressing some of it. I think the money seems to be one of the biggest issues, and then the other stuff, to be honest, it just doesn't. A lot of it doesn't even, it isn't even worth spending the time on.
Correct.
Like the shit talking and, the Wiener Brothers and, all this other bullshit. Yeah. I think that's just, it's fucking, those are the type of things that I refer to as, look, if you want to say something, then just come say it to me.
Exactly.
I'd rather you at least express it to me, even if you're going to be a little bitch about it. Sorry, yeah. I'm cussing, but at the end of the day, if you're going to be a little bitch about it, you just want to put it out online, it's not even worth me addressing.
And you're right. I mean, some of it isn't. It's unfortunate though sometimes. When we don't address some of these lies and rumors out there.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that some of our members take it as truth after a while. If you don't put it to rest, and I can't wake up every morning. John can't wake up every morning. You as a steward, you as a business agent, we can't wake up every morning combating what we're hearing in rumors, because guess what? That's not our job. Our job, and I tell people all the time, half my brain is always trying to combat all the negativity and all the bashing by my own brothers and sisters from my own freaking union, to keep it somewhat truthful out there. So not only do our members still believe in the union, and I have to combat that from them trying to turn against the union, but also corporate America saying, ha ha, look at the Teamsters, they're beating each other up again. You know what I mean? Trust me, everybody watches these websites.
Oh, they do.
You know what I mean? Yeah. We've had companies tell us, they look at these Facebook pages straight in our face. We look at your Facebook pages and we know what you're going to do. I mean, think about that. But at the end of the day, it's like, that's half of our brain. When it should be our whole entire day, every day we wake up is, how do we make our members' lives better?
Yeah.
And our members should be helping us. They should be pushing, doing the Bush push. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys remember that. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Pushing us from behind, saying, get there, get this. If you fall, I'll pick you up, like what happened with Silver. Silver is an organizer. It's not an easy job, but rather than helping him out, ha ha, look at you failed, ha ha ha. That's the kind of shit we don't need to see from our men. And that's the kind of stuff that these other guys that are running against us are doing. That's what they're doing. I mean, one guy, literally made I think he was recently, it was sent to me. He made a comment on a Facebook page saying I was pushed out of the local.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I was pushed out of the local. Completely, and I'm not going to get into why he left the local. I think a matter of integrity. I don't want to exactly go into details as to why he left, but I will say this much. He was having major family problems. And at the end of the day, dude, you take care of your health and you take care of your family, because that's the only thing you got with this job or whatever job you have. And we honored that, you know what I mean? So much so that when he quit due to his issues and went back to the truck, he came up to the next general membership meeting. He got up on our microphone. Now, he's telling people we pushed him out. He's telling people we fired him. He's telling people we didn't support him. He got up on the microphone the next meeting and said, I want to make this very clear. I left for personal reasons. I did not leave because of Eric or John. I support this team 110%. Fuck this so-and-so guy at Laguna spreading rumors. I want to make it very clear I left for personal reasons. I will keep supporting them. But now, 2 years later, your story is completely spinning. Oh, no, they kicked me out. They wouldn't support me. And we all know, because trust me, I had several people talk to this gentleman and say, hey, take some more time off.
Yeah.
Stick around.
Stick around, man. Yeah. Stick around, you know what I mean? And I will say this, you know what? Hey, dude, God works in mysterious ways. He left, John came in. John's a fucking phenomenal fucking business agent, bro. Phenomenal business agent, you know, changed things over there at Laguna, you know, does Teamster Tuesdays, you know what I mean, is active with his membership, you know what I mean, dude, and I'm not saying, you know, that because I want to, he was better than you. No, but if you're going to go out there and you're going to throw some of this misinformation out, you better understand that I'm going to combat it. And he's probably going to say, look, I told you, he's picking on me. Look, he debunked my lie. He's a bully. No, I'm going to debunk your lie because you're lying to people. Yeah. Literally, anybody that was at that membership meeting remembers him getting up and saying, I will continue to support them. I left for personal reasons. I want everybody to know it. It had nothing to do with the way this administration is working. I support him. And now all of a sudden it's, oh, no, I never supported. I'm like, have some integrity, man. Tell the membership the truth, you know what I mean? So, I mean, there is, you know what I mean? And like you said, John, there's a lot of, you know, rumors and lies out there. But, I mean, really just to kind of, you know, to put it in perspective, everything the other guys are hitting on, they can't say we don't get good contracts. So everything they're hitting on is money. They're spending our money. We have proof that your money's being spent wisely. They're having parties. That's your money. That's your money. As we spend money
the Christmas party for the
as
barbecue.
We spend money exactly as we spend money to represent you in terms of bargaining, legal fees, lawyers, we also have money left over to say, well, what else can we do for our membership? This is a family.
Yeah.
We literally spend more time with our Teamster brothers and sisters than we do with our own family.
Yeah.
So if I can take some of that leftover money and have you enjoy a Christmas party and bring your kids, dude, that's my job, man. That's what we're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? But, you know, money, the trucks, you know, we're going bankrupt, which is completely a complete fucking lie. You know what I mean?
Wild.
You know, we got the shittiest contracts. I mean, I just saw the other day, the picnic was a bust. Barely anybody showed up. Dude, we had over 600 people.
It was like 600 something.
600 people there, man. It's like that's
a measly 600 people.
But I'm like, you know, to our 9,000 members out there, that's what you're campaigning on? They didn't have a big picnic turnout. How about you tell these members, freaking, dude, bring up something of validity. They don't answer their phone calls. They don't get good contracts. They don't have membership involvement. They're a weak local union. You can't say any of that because that is completely untrue. So if you can't hit us on the facts, if you can't hit us on our achievements because they know they can't do what we're doing, well, the only thing we have left is let's just smut you, man. Let's smut you. And unfortunately, in this time of day, you know, in this day and age, you know, that's working from time to time, but it's not going to work for us. Our members are going to put their livelihood, their families' livelihoods in the hands of people that have been able to produce. You know what I mean? And if we're getting you better wages, if we're taking care of your grievances, if we're constantly, you know, and we're not going to always see eye to eye with our membership and even our stewards. But if we continue to move forward, why would you want to start taking steps back? Especially based off of, well, because they have a truck. Dude, you have a Wagoneer. Well, they have trucks. You had a truck when you worked here too. Oh, they're bankrupt. No, we have property. Okay, they didn't get me everything we wanted. We got you $3 in the first year. They can't combat that stuff. That's just cold, hard facts. You can't beat them. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think we could go on forever, but I mean, is there anything else specific that you want to address?
I mean, like I said, I mean, really, I mean, like you said, we could go on forever and ever. And it's something that should be talked about. It's something that should be addressed. I will say this, you know, if anybody out there has any questions, as to what's going on, give us a call. Do not vote off of something that you're hearing from somebody that somebody told them that somebody told. This is your livelihood. This is your future. This is your family's future. And at the end
Come
of the day,
to a meeting.
Come to a meeting. And like I said, thank God, for the team we have at Local 952, because I know the head coach always kind of gets the focal point, but it's not me, guys. It's John Green. It's our executive board, the rest of our executive board, Alizar Baltazar, Sean Munson, Keith Barton, Al Burgess. It's our business agents. You know what I mean? It is the ladies in the office. This is a team that was put together, and we're fucking steamrolling. We're rolling down the road, just killing it. You know what I mean? And I would ask you to continue to allow us to do that for you with your support, with the member support, because without them, we're nobody. But you don't want to go based off of what you're hearing in rumors are just lies.
The internet.
I mean? And, guess what? Every one of those guys has had an opportunity to come up to the microphone at our local union and to ask me a question.
Yeah.
Everyone has had an opportunity to pick up the phone and say, hey, Eric, can I talk to you? Can I talk to the executive board? I have an issue. Every one of them has had an opportunity when I hit their yards, which it's funny. Oh, they don't say hi to us when they come to our yards. Like, really, that's what your campaign on? He doesn't say hi to me. Are you serious, bro? Like, that's what, but again, every time we show up to your yards, you have an opportunity to come talk to me and say, what's up? But they won't. They won't debate the issues.
Yeah.
They won't debate the facts. They won't come up to me and say, Eric, this is what's going on. So I can say, hey, dude, let me look into your concern. It's no, the other day I had somebody from Albertsons where he got some of the members riled up. And I said, well, why didn't you call me, man? Well, I didn't know. I said, well, I'm telling you how this happened now. He's like, well, now that I know it happened that way, I get it. And I said, but before calling me up and getting the story, you decided to go out to the membership or the well, poison it.
Poison in the well.
Poison it, and then come get the facts. And you're a shop steward, bro. I mean, is that how you run a shop steward? Is that how you represent your members? I'm going to go into the meeting with my member who just got fired and try to throw at the company a bunch of rumors and lies, and then come back out and try to figure out the facts? No, as a steward, you figure out the facts, you do your investigation, you talk to whoever you need to talk to, get whatever information you need, then you go into the company with guns loaded saying, boom, either I got a case for you, bro, or dude, we're climbing a steep hill. But when it comes to me, oh no, I'm going to go ahead and spread all the rumors I want. Then I'll come to you and talk to you about it and try to, okay, I messed up. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of bullcrap. So, I mean, again, we can go on forever. All I ask is, put our scorecard to their scorecard. You know what I mean? Where we were at 5 years ago, you know what I mean? Albertsons in the best shape it's ever been. OCTA got its first contract that Stuart was just telling me. First contract in 39 years that was ratified before the expiration date. And that was because we told the company, you get us a contract on the date or we're going to fucking hit the streets. And Sean and Fred were there to say, we'll get them the money. You know what I mean? CVS, dude, just got $3 in the first year, man. Just huge.
More than UPS got.
Yeah.
Just saying.
$3 in the first year. And they only had a 4-year contract, bro. Yeah. They only had it's only a 4-year contract. I mean, dude, again, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, our school bus drivers. I mean, think about this, guys. Our school bus drivers. Some of our school bus drivers are making upwards over 35, close to $38 an hour, and they're part-time school bus drivers. You know what I mean? And they deserve it. You know what I mean? But our school bus drivers are. We're in negotiations with GKN right now. Our membership is doing really, really well. I just don't want anybody to believe in these lies or believe in some of this mumbo jumbo or some of these fake promises, especially, like I said, from guys that have never been involved in the union. Some of these guys have never been involved in the union. They show up every 2.5, 3 years to, let's run. Some of them never been stewards, and some of them that are stewards don't do their job as stewards. You know what I mean? Some of them have misused union funds. You know what I mean? Out there, went on birthday sprees. You know what I mean? This and that. You got to take that into consideration. You know what I mean? So again, don't put your family's livelihood. Don't put your livelihood in the hands of the unknown. When you see what's doing is great. And ultimately, I'll leave it as this. The the reason why our membership has been empowered to speak up, to at times beat us up, even though it may not be true, is because as a union over the last 5 years, we've empowered our members to believe we can speak up for each other.
Yeah.
Our stewards,
Very
some
true.
of our stewards that know they had no power now have power. We empowered them to be able to say, you guys can go into your yards and speak up for our membership. You know what I mean? With that comes sometimes you empower people that just want the mighty title, and now I'm empowered to talk shit on you. You know what I mean? But again, I think 95% of our membership, probably even more, are happy with what's going on. They see what's happening out there. You know what I mean? And eventually, like you said, what was it? The truth goes around the world twice.
No, a lie goes around the world twice before the truth puts its pants on.
Okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I said, eventually, the truth will come out. People see through the lies and the bullshit, and they'll see the truth that's happening out there. So, like I said, some of these guys, man, if they have an issue, hey, man, we just had our last general membership meeting. They had every right to walk up to that microphone and say, hey, what are your issues? Instead, they left the meeting and got on Facebook and yep. And the other ones didn't even come into the meeting. For what reason? At the end of the day, man, this is your home. And as long as you're, talking logical truth and bringing legitimate concerns, we'll answer your questions. We'll address your concerns. But if you're going to say this guy's wife is a piece of shit, this and that, I ain't going to answer that. But I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna make it clear.
It's like, this guy's wife's a piece of shit. That has nothing to do with anything. Now you're just literally talking shit.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because we have some people actually getting their wives on Facebook pages and having them talk shit to people. And I'm like, man, dude, like, who does that, bro? Like, at the end of the day, I have kids, I have a wife.
Yeah,
this is my world. You know what I mean? This is our world. This is our Teamster world. And it can get nitty gritty. Everybody knows Teamsters are freaking, they believe in what they believe in, and they're going to make it a point. The last thing I'm ever going to do is say, hey, babe, will you go protect me on Facebook right now so guys can talk shit to my wife? You know what I mean? And then I'm going to turn around and say, why are you talking shit to my wife? Well, you told her to go on Facebook and support you, bro. Like, come on, man. So again, we can get into a lot of negativity, guys. I just ask the membership to look at the positive. Yeah. Best contracts. Membership is well and thriving. We're organizing. Silver's organizing. The relationship we've built with the IBT is better than ever. Our presence as Local 952 in Orange County and Southern California is massive.
Huge.
We have
on the west.
Yes, on the west.
Shit.
We have staff. We have staff in terms of representatives for the IBT. We have staff on the IBT. You know what I mean? We got a communications director who's second to none, and people are calling him like, dude, your guys' videos, your guys' postings, man. I mean, we are killing it out there. And like I said,
Job just got
I mean, out of this local, we now have had 3 or 4 people pulled out of our local to go organize with the IBT or the Joint Council. That goes to show, like, hey, man, they're doing their job.
Yep.
When you produce, you get noticed, and we're getting noticed. You know what I mean? So again, that's what I ask our members to look at: all the positive stuff, all the positives. At the end of the day, take my truck away. That doesn't mean you're going to get a good contract. At the end of the day, I can show you the reports that we have millions of dollars in assets. That's not going to get you a good contract. What's going to get you a good contract is you supporting us supporting you, and you seeing what we're doing out there. So.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you spending the time to kind of clear up some of the BS. And I'll tell you guys out there in YouTube and Spotify world, we're never going to clean it all up. That was never the goal of the show.
No.
We really just kind of wanted to get on here, talk about some of the positive stuff, answer some of the biggest, loudest questions out there. It was never meant to be anything but a positive thing at the end of the day. Address some of the bullshit, get some of that out of the way, but, talk about the contracts, talk about what, the team that Eric's put together. And, like you said, all the people that have got picked up by the IBT or the Joint Council, and you a rep, James a rep. I mean, just the stuff that's going on for our local is amazing. We ask that you guys would push that forward, keep that rolling. That's just for me, mean, we all have our own, we all have our own opinions, but if you have questions, come. I know Eric's line's open. He always says it at the local or at the general membership meetings. Eric's line's open. Give him a call. You can always come to the general membership meetings when they're back on in September.
Yep.
You know, you got a lot of avenues to answer your questions. So don't let those, you know, burn in your head, or don't let people talk shit and you just believe it for truth. You know, you got to seek out truth.
Yeah, get your own information. You know, go to the hall, get your own information right straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
Correct. You know? And, you know, real quick, guys, John Green, you know, I mean, unfortunately, he couldn't be here today. He's getting a little time with his son and daughter, finally, you know what I mean? Yeah. But over the last couple months, we've been just in mad negotiations, a lot of negotiations. He's one of our negotiators, so he's planning on coming on. He'll be planning on answering questions, too, and doing whatever he needs to do. But a good president, like I said, good president. He's helped us put a good local together. Phenomenal fucking negotiator when it comes to contracts.
Yes.
He usually helps us close out all our major contracts, you know what I mean? But, you know, he was like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and skip hanging out with the family. And I was like, no, you're not. At the end of the day, don't miss those days, because you don't get them back when you see your daughter dancing or your son playing baseball, you know what I mean? True. Yeah. Those days. So, I mean, but he'll get on here, you know what I mean? So.
Awesome. Well, thanks, George. To you guys out there, thank you for tuning in every week. We appreciate it. Or I shouldn't say every week. It's been a little bit of a gap.
We're going to get back on schedule. I know it's been wild.
We're going to get back on schedule. We got a lot going on. George's knee is looking better.
Yeah. I'm almost 100 now.
He's bending it. About to get back on the truck.
Yep.
But thank you guys for tuning in every week. Please follow us on Instagram, OCST952.
For all your questions, comments, concerns, email us, ocst.000@gmail.com. Basically all I got.
See you next week.
See you next week.